What's going on YouTube? It's Barrymore back with another locals match. Today we have Examon on the left with DarkKnightmon on the right. The DK player will be going first, going into a Examon over the Monimon. And then he drops a Pride Memory boost here, revealing the top 3, able to play a 4-drop or less. Plays out the Skull Knight and discarding the rest. Back over to the Examon player. It looks like he doesn't have a rookie, so he hard drops the Cordramon, which on play does get to draw 2. So hopefully he gets a rookie from those 2 cards that he got. DK player goes ahead and pops his boost to go up to 4 and plays out a BT11 Searcher. So it reveals the top 4 and is able to get 2 Twilight cards. Gets the Nene and Immortal Ruler. Nene is a good card because it does search as well, and it gives all of his Twilight and Dark Knights in blocker, which is great. Swings in 3k with the Sparrowmon because he does get that boost from the Monimon. Which does survive the check because he hits a 2k Drakmon. Drops a Nene, revealing the top 4. Able to get a DarkKnightmon out of it. That does activate her effect, which on opponent's turn makes all his Twilight blockers. So the Monimon is a blocker right now in case you need to block an attack. Examon player still searching for a rookie, not able to find one, just goes into the Groundramon for 3, passing over to 1. At least he does have a blocker though, in case he decides to block one of his attacks. So it lets that one go through, but it did kind of work in his favor because he reveals a Cordramon, which from security he does come into play, and on play like the other one he does get to draw 2. Does block the BT11 just to reduce the amount of damage he's doing. And looks like he's gonna Digicross here into the DarkKnightmon. So the DK on play does the Digivolve 1 and pops a 5 play cost Digimon, but both Cordramons are 6 play cost, so unable to destroy any of them. Finally finds a rookie, goes into the Drakmon in the back, and then goes into a Wingdramon. Now if he does a Groundramon here play, he might be going into an Examon at the end of turn with their effect. No point in swinging over the Sparrowmon because he does have 7k and the DarkKnightmon has 7k and he is a blocker, so they would crash, and DarkKnightmon has no problem letting his people get deleted. So it looks like he's going to the Examon. Puts his Breakdramon underneath and plays out a Slayerdramon. So the Slayerdramon will allow him to force the attack at the beginning of their main phase, of the opponent's main phase, which he does. He suspends the Slayer. He chooses to attack with the DarkKnightmon. Blocks with the Examon, suspending the Sparrowmon on unsuspension. To prevent deletion, he does play out the Mighty Axe mode with DarkKnightmon's effect of revealing the top 3. And you guys see he has a Mervamon, so he does play a Mervamon variant here. But he grabs the Skull Knightmon from the 3, trashes the other 2. It looks like he's getting ready to Digicross again, so he will de-Digivolve the Examon and pass over 1. Currently has 3 blockers on the field. No, 2, I'm sorry. The Skull Knight doesn't count as a blocker, unfortunately. It doesn't have Twilight in his trait. Decides to go ahead and raise. Swings over the Sparrow with the Slayer. Does get to trash a card because of the Breakdramon underneath the Groundramon inheritable. Whenever you delete something with a Dramon or Examon, you get to trash a card from their security. And just hard drops the Death X for 8. Death X is extremely powerful against Dark Knight because they usually only have level 5s and 4s out on the field, so they, for the most part, always usually clears the board. He does pass over a ton of memory though, so he can still see some plays here. Drops the Immortal Ruler. Immortal Ruler can't ignore color cost because of the Nene on the field. As long as you have a Nene, you are able to play the Immortal Ruler for without with ignoring the color requirements. So it trashes the top 3, and he's able to play a DarkKnightmon for playing his cost. Plays out the DarkKnightmon, and he's able to digicross with materials from the source from that option card. De-digivolves the Groundramon and pops the Drakmon, and then just drops a Tide Tamer. End of turn, he will delete the DK because of the Death X, but he prevents the deletion by playing out the Mighty Axe mode and returning the other one to hand. It doesn't have lethal here because of that blocker, because the Mighty Axe mode does retain blocker because he is a Twilight. The Nene is giving him that effect, but he suspends it with a Samadhi Sante tech card. That's pretty cool. Swings in with the Slayer, and then he does get to trash the card because of the Breakdramon. That Breakdramon is putting in work. Swings in with the Death X. Nothing big in security. And decides not to swing with the Slayer Dramon, and just goes into a Core Dramon in the back for 2, passing over the 3 because of that Memory Tamer. Does not decide to make him attack, even though he attacks anyways. Dies in security. Not looking too good here for the Dark Knight. No more swings. No more swings, and not really much he can do. He drops a Mervamon with the Ignite Inheritable for 8, getting back 1 memory from the Ignite, so only playing it for 7. Brings out 2 blockers, but the Speramon does die to the Death X effect at the end of turn. Now he does have 2 blockers in the field, but with 4 checks in total, it's not looking too good. Goes into the Breakdramon, and he does a misplay here, because he went over a level 6 from a level 4, but he had already had enough to checks even before that to win the game or the turn. So Examon takes game 1. Game 2, the DarkKnightmon player decides to go first and digicrosses. Looks like he didn't have a rookie in hand. This time the Examon player does get to start with a rookie. Then just drops a Davis, revealing a Wingdramon, Breakdramon, and Slayer, grabbing the Wingdramon and the Breakdramon. Probably already has a Slayer in hand. And then just passes over 2 by going into a Wingdramon and raising. DK player wastes no time swinging with 2 checks because he does have to get that extra check from the Skull Knight underneath him. He hits a Kaiser now, but nothing in on the board that he can take a Digimon from underneath him. And just sets him back to 3 by dropping a Mighty Axe mode. And he decides to raise and go into a Wingdramon. No blocker inheritable, which is not good. They all have evade, but he does drop the Wingdramon that has blocker, and he gets the memory back from the Drakmon for playing for dropping that Wingdramon. Swings in 2 checks again, decides not to block, but he does hit a memory boost, so that might help him next turn. And then he swings with the Mighty Axe mode, but he does block that one, no reason not to. And he's gonna Digicross again, so that's going to de-Digivolve the Wingdramon and then delete the 5-drop blocker, leaving him with just the Wingdramon with evade, and then pass his turn. No follow-up play to that, but the damage has been done. It's down to 1 security. He has 2 DarkKnightmons on the field and only a level 5. He does have the memory boost, so he can go into he digivolves into the Wingdramon and then into the Breakdramon, passing over 3. No blocker though, so with no blocker on the field, DarkKnightmon player just swings in for game. Or for the last check, revealing the Wingdramon, but a little too late, and just swings in for game. So game 2 goes to DK, and then game 3, Examon player decides DK player will go first. So no rookie to start with, but just drop a CL to discard 1 and draw 2. Pretty good tech just to get some draw power and discard a card that you don't need from your hand. Now with 3 memory, gets a Digivolves into a DarkKnightmon and into a Cordramon and then into a Groundramon, passing over 2. DK player wastes no time to swing in with that CL, sacrificing her. But it was a pretty good sacrifice because he does hit into that Slayer Dramon. That's one less Slayer to worry about. Chokes him to 1 by dropping a BT11. And then getting a Sparrow and then an Immortal Ruler. I'm guessing he got the Sparrowmon just to be able to go into raising with the next turn because he didn't do it with the BT11. Digivolves into the Slayer Dramon, so he will be able to force the attack and then block it next turn, which will be the smart play since he doesn't have any follow-ups to that. No other Digimon attacks, so the Slayer doesn't really have anything to worry about as far as deleting or swinging over him. He Digicrosses though with the Dark Knight, so he does get to de-Digivolve him by 1, revealing the Groundramon underneath, passing him over to 2. No rookie again, so nothing in the back. Goes into the Break Dramon. And he does have a blocker at least, and if he does decide to swing, he can suspend the other one, but he just goes into a DarkKnightmon to de-Digivolve again. So that's 2 Slayers gone and a Break Dramon. He plays the Mem Boost, so he needs a rookie. Okay, he finds a rookie there. Oh, but he decides to get the Wing Dramon. Okay, so he's probably thinking about going into an Examon play here then. Yeah, he hard drops the Wing Dramon and then DNAs at the end of the turn with both of their effects into an Examon. But with the Slayers in trash, unless he has another one, he's not gonna be able to force the attack. Yeah, he just hard drops, or he just plays the Cordramon with the Examon when DNA Digivolving. He does get two cards with that draw. He decides to swing in with the DK. Tries to swing in for 2 checks, but he does block it, which is a smart play because obviously you don't want 2 checks going through. And he does get to suspend the other DarkKnightmon. I'm not sure if the DK player knew that he had a blocker, or maybe he forgot. I'm not sure. Maybe he went too fast. He swings with the Sparrowmon hitting a Kaiser now. He thinks about playing the Groundramon here, but if he plays another DK out and crosses, he's going to de-Digivolve the Groundramon and pop the core underneath. Because it is a 5-drop, so he just opts to play out the Wing Dramon from the bottom sources. Still retaining the evade with the Cordramon inheritable. He Digivolves into the Cavalier mode for 1 over that over the Skull Knight. So he gets blocker and reboot. No, blocker jamming, I'm sorry. That Pride Memory boost really screwed him. All 3 were purple. And he just trashed 2 Mervamons. Goes into another Cavalier for more draw power. He's digging. And just hard drops a BT11 for more search power. And there goes another Mervamon. So that's 3. You can see it's for the frustration in him. Bottom decking a Mervamon and then trashing 2. Unless he plays 4. That's pretty much all the Mervas. Uses memory boost to go to 4, goes into a Groundramon. He has the blocker in the Cavalier mode, but Examon is just going to suspend it, swinging over the Sparrow to get 1 less body on the field. And plays the Ice Wall, and is most likely going into that Slayer Dramon to force the attack and make him lose 2 memory at the beginning. Yeah, gets rid of that Cavalier mode. No reason not to. Then goes Slayer over the Wing Dramon on the left side. So at the beginning of turn, he will suspend the Slayer to force the attack, block with the Examon, suspending the DarkKnightmon so he doesn't get 2 extra checks. pops the boost. And then, yeah, I guess dang, he had the 4th. He saw all Mervamons. So he digicrosses for 8. Getting back 1 memory from that Ignite, so it's going to be for 7. He brings out the King Shout and the Sparrowmon, so at least he has more blockers now. He decides he wants to, with the King Shoutmon, he tries to get, he thinks about getting the Mervamon, but he decides to get the DarkKnightmon because he does get, he's able to get a Digimon that can digicross from the trash. Pretty good tech there with the King Shout, just to get something from trash back. And goes into another Slayer Demon. It's not looking too good for the DarkKnightmon player here. This is a pretty scary board here for him. He swings over the DK, saving delete, well, preventing deleting by playing the Mighty Axe mode, and then he suspends the Merva with Examon's effect. Make sure he has a rookie in the back by going inside Madoki. But he swings into the Mervamon 12k. They're both 12, but since he unsuspends and he has evade, he can evade the deletion. So it's pretty nasty. And now he has no blocker, so he's forced to just take the swing. Swings in with the Slayer, hitting a Skull Knight, nothing big. And it just chokes him to 1. And he goes to 2, I'm not sure how. Maybe they miscalculated. But he does force the attack by suspending his Slayers. Swings in with the King Shout, unsuspends the Slayer, and then swings, blocks with the Examon, suspending the Mighty Axe mode. Swings in with the other Sparrow, blocks with the Slayer. And swings in with the last Sparrow, blocking with the Examon. No reason not to block. Again, he's not threatening any kind of deletion here. Yeah, the most he could do is just de-digivolve something with the DK. And de-digivolves the Examon. Still has 2 Slayer Dramons on the field. So he does have lethal here because he has a total of 6 checks if the Slayer Dramons do survive the attacks. And he just drew the Examon, so as long as he can keep a green source and a green level 5 and a Slayer Dramon, he can go into that Examon for more checks. That's 2 down. Hits another giant TV. And then hits a Nene. So that does give the DarkKnightmon blocker, which he doesn't realize it because he just immediately swings in with the Ground Dramon. And it's pretty funny because he's just showing the cards he had his hand. He blocks with the Dark Knight, so they both die. But he just swings in for game with the other one. That was funny. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next Digi match.